What about a soulmate?
A soulmate.
Yeah, not necessarily your spouse.
Still
or
working to soulmates.
yeah,
Right?
correct.
Soulmates,
Yeah.
right? I think.
Well, I said that because many people can't even find one.
Yeah. Still working on it.
Still working on it. And usually,
Well, I agree with what Freda said. So the bigger your
Circle.
that's interesting. Yeah.
it will be better. It expand your horizon. I remember when I first met Kit, my husband now, right? He was very different from all the other friends that I had back then in university. I'm an introvert. I only stick to that amount of circle of friends, and I don't really mingle with other people. And when I met this guy, he knows everybody and anybody, right? And I was so intrigued and curious, like, how did this guy know everyone? And that was one of the attraction, actually, that I thought, wow, I want to be different. I want to see a world that is bigger than that group of friends. So that's why I gravitate towards this person, and I want to see his world. Wow, how does it feel like to know so many different people, having different perspective, talking to different groups of people for different reasons? He can literally have friends from 3 to 80-year-old,
Right.
and he can start a conversation.
And it's an art, yeah.
It's
and
really
you
an
have to
art.
learn it. Of course, it's possible to learn it, but you got to learn it because sometimes to talk to an 85-year-old could be challenging.
Yes.
And to talk to a 3-year-old, I had my niece yesterday in my house. So when I got back, she said, Grandpa, can you actually catch me? So we just did that about 10 times. And after that, I'm bloody exhausted. I had already done my gym work. I had done my swimming. And I said, darling, you just have got to let go. He said, no, I come to see you. Come on, please. So it could be at a point of pressure. But, when we talk about like going back to that example of your son saying, if I move away from these 6 guys that I don't like, that's this concept of a lot of people go through this. And that was one of the reasons today, the epidemic of mental illness, where the play-based culture is replaced by a phone-based culture. We lie down and watch TikTok, and then we go to Instagram, then we go to Facebook. But then psychiatrists and psychologists say that loneliness sets in.
Yes.
And therefore, your mental health is different.
Yes.
And the way you respond emotionally is also different.
Yes.
So, any thoughts on that?
Because I have young kids, I'll just share this from a young kid's perspective. So I did ask my children, since you guys are so-called born into this technological
World,
advanced world, and where everything is just distracting you, right? Just zapping your attention. So I asked them, and they're on the phone all the time. So I asked them, if you're given a choice to play with your phone, your computer game, your whatever mobile thing that you're doing, or go out and play football, go out to run in the park or whatever, to my surprise, they told me that they would rather go out.
Oh, really?
Yes. And that got me thinking, who created this problem? Is it them? Or is it the adult? And I asked myself, I'm like, wow, I think I play a big responsibility here in letting them just take their idle time to play with phone.
Yeah.
So I look back at myself and I say, okay, if I want them to get off this phone and growing up to be another generation of just head down generation, right? I will have to do something. I will have to grab them, grab their attention. Whoever shouts the loudest, get their attention, right? So I'll have to be the mom that shouts the loudest. Bring them out, go and do something, play something, see something. I don't care, as long as we are doing something.
Monkey see, monkey do. I think your kids are younger than my son, right? So I think at that point it was very easy to give the tablet because that's your electronic babysitter, right? So I need the solution. So my son sort of was born a little after that, so he had a different perspective. But I feel that it's also like church is important for us, right? So now he's in Australia and he's willingly going to church by himself. He's got his social friends in that area. And I think he watches us, right? So whenever I go out for dinner with my friends and he's joining me, there's no phones because we all put away our phones because we're having conversations. So he's actually interacting with my friends because he sees mom does it and there's no phone. He's not that kid by his side, so we're all having a conversation.
Yes.
But that is something he's probably seen monkey see, monkey do, right? From a young age. So to be very conscious. But like I said, my kid is a bit older, so he wasn't born with that.
Because you're setting a model, you're setting a role model yourself,
True.
And I think it's interesting because in this book, basically Colleen and Workup talk about you are the CEO of your well-being journey.
Yes.
And so I think a couple of things they say, hey, look, are you breathing properly? Right.
Okay.
Are you,
Breathing in.
right. Are you in the midst of a sleep crisis? Because, I have a sleep app on my phone which tells me what's the deep sleep, the light sleep, the dream, and the snore. And of course, my wife says that the sleep app is wrong because you snore a lot more than what the sleep app does. And healthy eating.
Yes.
I think it's, and I know I have friends who always tell me that whatever tastes good is not, you say it's not healthy, so how do you go about it? But it's a willpower, right? So in the journey of well-being, willpower is also very important. Stress, just now we talked about why don't we go out and play, why are we removed from nature, and purpose and social disconnection. So going back, I found that, look, every morning when I was trying to get out and I read this book, The 5 a.m. Club. So
That's a big challenge for me.
It is a big challenge because when I pull out the curtain, it's so darn dark. So I said, hey, look, I will just change it to a 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
club.
Yeah. I'll join that club.
But I'll do the 20 minutes of moving your body because I think a lot of times people think, just like what you said, the exercise can wait.
Yes.
Now you schedule it. And reading, 20 minutes. And then finally doing some form of prayer or meditation, whatever your culture, your religion allows, just to do that. So to go back, Freda, so how do we build that willpower or discipline into our lives in the joy of well-being?
Okay, so I was listening to that. I said willpower is it's not everybody has willpower. I have willpower in some things, and I'm a certain personality, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm able to, but not everybody is, right? And also not in all areas of my life. So I always find that and it's such a daunting word for a lot of people. So start small. You know what I mean? Just start small, like you say, 20 minutes. It could be can we do 5? Can we start with doing that? Oh, 5 possible. Then we do 10, right? So I think that's how you encourage people to say, hey, I can do 5. I can do more. So that's how you build up your muscle in that sense, right? So the word willpower, don't be scared. Start small.
Yes, that's more.
Yes, I totally agree with that. But to circle back to willpower, I also want to highlight that the identity of who you see yourself as, right? If you see yourself as someone who is fit, healthy, gonna age well, I want to have the least wrinkle, right? And that is the identity that I want to keep. I will do something to achieve that identity of my ideal self, whatever that is. It could be a successful person, it could be a homemaker, a successful homemaker, it could be anything, right? But if that identity is fixed, then I feel that you will have a better willpower or motivation to pursue whatever the identity is.
Very good, because I think today, psychiatrists and psychologists talk about identity, and they say that's the first cause for mental illness. So to move to wellness, you need to build that strong sense of identity. Start small. I heard Mel Robbins on one of my daughter has put in what's an app on my phone, screen time restrictions. I can only watch TikTok for 10 minutes.
Wow.
I've done this for you.
Wow.
Because she's studying psychology too, So,
reversal, right?
I'm doing that for my son, right?
all right. So Mel Robbins, because when you have kind of given up what you're doing, all my life I found that I've evolved. Okay, I was a I was employed. I went on to become an entrepreneur. I was a teacher. I got into research, academics, training, and then, of course, I became the chairman and managing director of a large organization. So I've evolved over the years. So when I kind of decided to let go and let lead the new team, I found that, hey, I had to do something. So one of the first things is this phone becomes a challenge. So I was on my TikTok 10-minute allowance, and I listened to Mel Robbins.
Wow.
And she just said exactly what you said. Just start small. You can't get up at 5 o'clock. Oh, come on, damn it! Just get up at 7 o'clock and just build that into your schedule. Yeah.
Yes.
And she said, you've had a long night. It's a tough day, stress day, because we talk about in well-being, stress is one of those important factors. So why don't you do this? She said, she was exhausted and she was watching the NASA space launch, and it said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! It goes up.
Yeah.
And I remember when Freda used to interview personalities on television, the cameraman will say 3, 2, 1.
Action.
So she says, just say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jump out of bed. Make up your bed first. Don't allow somebody else to make it up. Teach it, and your kids will observe, and then they will look at that and they will follow you. Go brush your teeth. Look in the mirror and say, "Hey, look, I'm going to have a happy day." High five.
Yes.
And so she wrote 2 books. I think one was Let Them Theory, and another one was primarily the high five. So, you're trying to build that into your own life. So maybe I just wanted to go back and make it a little personal, Freda, and Shirlyn, because both of you have got so much of experience. Shirlyn, can you think about a defining moment in your life that actually shaped your well-being journey?
Oh, there's quite a few. And my husband played a big role in this. Just a more recent one, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I'm a coffee drinker, right? I love my coffee. Every morning, the coffee reaches me sooner than anything else, right? And my husband, on the other way, he has got better willpower in terms of keeping in shape and doing all those things. He will take his protein shake first. And he always asks me, darling, you should take your protein shake. It's good for you. It's good for women, blah, 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 so on, so on. I said, okay, it's all right, later. I'll get my coffee first, right? And one day he asked me this question. You know what? One day, what if we go out together and your friend, hang out with your friend, and they ask like, how old are you? And how old is your husband? How come the husband is so much younger? Because he said the power of compound effect. Every day you're drinking coffee and it's aging you, and I'm drinking my protein shake. He actually drew out the curve for me, right, in front of my eyes. I'm like, oh. I'm not going to let that happen.
Drinking coffee is going to make you old.
So I don't think so.
But drinking protein, of course, makes you
and protein,
right?
Yeah.
So because I was it's not just coffee, but the way I think of well-being, the way I'm taking care of myself, it's just not there. Nothing. None of my schedule shows that I'm taking care of myself. So he's kind of worried, and he said that, you got to do this, right, to look after yourself first. Right? Okay. So I said, okay, so I'm not going to let that happen. So I will start taking my protein shake.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So
that's very good.
Yeah. So that's one of
a question. What was it? Around
a defining moment in your journey of well-being.
The defining moment would be the end of my marriage. That was the defining moment for me. And I can talk about it right now without crying. But I think that was that moment when you look, then that was when, like I know the wheel of life. I know all these things. Then it's like, okay, you start taking it seriously. Okay, where in the wheel of life? Then focus on relationships. Hence the end of that. Then that's sort of like, let me just look at everything in my life that needs adjustments, right? And these adjustments need to be made all the time, or a yearly review of the adjustments, everything. But I think that was the defining moment when one aspect of your life, and that was the thing is, if you've got all the money in the world and you don't have that, right? I don't have a relationship with my son. What's the point of all the money in the world, right? So I think that was that moment that sort of woke me up to, I've got to be well-rounded. And to be well-rounded, that will help with your well-being.
Holistic, yes. Holistic, yeah, I think that's very important. And I think that's one of those things that we always talk about. And we say, look, you don't want to lose something, but you got to live a life. Yeah,
Yeah.
the life has to be balanced and moderate. But if something doesn't work out, then you just got to figure out how to kind of move on.
Yes. And I always ask myself, when I do anything or any action or any project, I'll ask myself, what's the cost?
Okay.
Because it will cost me something, right? It will cost me my time away from my family. It will cost me maybe my health. It will cost me different things.
Opportunity cost, huh?
Yeah. When I'm fearing of missing out on something, when I'm chasing something, and I will ask me, what is the cost when I take on this? And I'll weigh, and then if there's not much cost and there's more gain in that sense, then I'll pursue. But if the cost is too high, like every night I will have to be out, away from my family, away from my children, then it's a no. Yeah.
But it's interesting because you just say that, look, I just needed to do something. But if you go back to the saying no bid, I have had friends in the Western world who basically say, no, I'm sorry. I know it's a very interesting project. It's probably going to generate $100,000 for me, but I've already scheduled my vacation with my family, and I think the children are all separate. I'm sorry. Maybe if you can move the dates, I can do it. Otherwise, thank you very much. But I found it always very difficult to do it because $100,000 is very important. But then, so I always say, look, how do I find the balance? Both are important. Financial health is important.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think the vacation is important. So I've always said, okay, let's negotiate and figure out how to actually get through that. Would you like to share something? Similar situations you've been in an ambivalent, stuck in the middle.
Around that, right? Again, that question, right? How much do you need? How much do you need, right? And then looking back, what's going to be more important at the end of the day? And I know that whole thing with the wheel of life, is it time with my son? So sometimes, right? So like even now, March is generally, Puasa month is generally a quiet period for me, so in terms of work and all that. So then that's where I schedule my holidays. But along the way, the project's coming in. It's like, I booked my flight. You book your flight and say, I've got to say no, I'm out of town, right? Because otherwise things will always end. You're like, okay, I'll do it. So you you book your flight. I'm going on a holiday. I can't do this. That's it. Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And that's priority, right? We talked about priority.
Yeah.
So what is priority? And I think just now we talked about it. And the children might say, hey, look, my mom turned down some work to go with me. That's important.
Yes.
They may not remember it 30 years later, but
I'll remind them. That's what mothers do.
Yes, that's what mother do.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we wanted to talk about the joy of well-being, I was always interested after exploring a couple of issues: mental health, emotions, physical health, and what we need to do, how to structure it, how to schedule it. And as we come to the last couple of minutes on the podcast, I would just want you to just say, if you had a couple of, let's say, 3 key ideas in the journey of well-being, what would it be, Freda?
Okay, asking
3 simple.
Okay, I would say, really have set some things that you want, right? The wheel of life, right? If you just Google that and look at it and find out, is your wheel round? Is it moving in the right direction? Not some things need to be adjusted, right? Little things. So they don't need to be major. So I don't have any major fitness goals because I'm already exercising, but maintenance is a goal, right?
Yes,
So maintenance is a goal. The other thing is also really just plan the week. That's what you need to do: plan the week, plan the month. Like I also have my podcast series, and that's for season 2, which is from May to July. I finished my recording now 3 months early, right?
Wow.
Because I know that what are the people like? People are gonna be busy. People are gonna be, raya, da, da, da. So do it now so that I can enjoy my holiday, right? And then not think in the back of my mind. So a little bit of planning, a little bit of like, just sort of scheduling your time a little bit. Just have a bit of foresight of what's gonna happen, right? And like I said, then the third thing, schedule exercise. Really exercise and try to do it. Now I walk with my iPod, but for the longest time, I just walked and I didn't want to. I just want to be comfortable. In whatever's going through my mind, just let it go, and then spend time to just go through your mind. Sometimes you're avoiding certain things, so really listen to yourself, right?
So plan, schedule, do it.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's powerful.
Good.
I would say that I'll circle back to knowing your identity. Self-awareness play a big role. So really, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, who am I? Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Right? Don't be afraid to ask, even though you have no clue how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Right? So just give yourself that time, that space, to say it's okay to not know the exact path to go there, but I want to identify who do I want to be? What do I want to do? The identity is important because it sets the whole scene for what you're going to do next, right? So that's one. Second one is don't wait. Don't wait until later because tomorrow is never promised, right? Enjoy today. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy work. Right? Today. Last one, it would be just stretch yourself a little bit. Because I think ultimately, if we are just sitting in our comfort zone, saying that, oh, I'm good, I'm well, I'm all fine, right? It will just go downhill. We need to be pushed a little, stretched a little, achieve something that is out of our comfort zone a little, and that makes us grow. And that kind of confidence, no money can buy. Right? You can really say, wow, I did well. I did that. Even though I could not do it 3 months ago, but I did it now. So that kind of confidence really just build you up. That would be my
Lovely. So it's identity, self-awareness, and stretch yourself a little.
Yes.
Wonderful. Every time when I plan, because she said plan, schedule and do it. Every time I've done that, I've always made sure that I have 4 areas. I always talk about professional. So whatever I want to do in order. I'm not a pure entrepreneur. I'm a professional turned entrepreneur. So I still focus on my professional work. I want to write. I want to speak a little bit. And then number 2, work. Whatever the management team wants me to do, help, support. And 3, personal. So I've got to make sure I swim, make sure I do this, make sure I do that. And number 4 is family.
Yes.
So whatever happens, so if there's a social event, then it's a personal social. Community is personal community. So I think I loved having you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Plan, schedule, do, identity, very critical for mental health. Number 2, self-awareness, and number 3, stretch yourself, because that's what life is all about. Well, thank you so much, and I hope our viewers will also enjoy their joy and their journey in the joy of well-being, because I'm always concerned that younger people don't focus so much, and I hope that everyone needs to focus on the journey of well-being. Well, thank you, Terima kasih. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.